Welcome back to our Tips for Organizers series. This video will be giving you advice on how to effectively run a Diversify Our Narrative chapter. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go back and watch it and come back to this video after. Organizing for the very first time can be very difficult and challenging. Here are 8 tips to help make your local team of organizers more cohesive, efficient, and timely. All of these tips come from Diversify Our Narrative's Team Organization Guide, which will be linked in the description. Tip number 1, set up the very first team call as soon as possible. This first call is very important. It allows the team to see each other face to face via video, allows you all to bond, brainstorm, and talk through ideas over the phone. If you're having trouble working this out over text, use the website When to Meet. This website allows everyone to fill out what times of day they are free to call. It is extremely accessible and easy to use, and takes about 2 minutes to set up. After you have figured out a convenient time to meet, figure out how you are going to meet. Consider using Zoom, Google Meets, or whatever video conference platform is most comfortable with your chapter. Next up is planning how the meeting will be laid out. Here's a sample schedule for your first meeting. Feel free to change this or add anything that fits your needs. First, start with introductions and an icebreaker. Have everyone state their name, school, age, pronouns, and state a fun fact about themselves, or provide an answer to a predetermined prompt. Next, assign a note taker. That way, if someone cannot come, they can read the notes. Create a shared Google Drive, if possible, to put these notes in. Next, brainstorm a rough timeline for advocacy. Consider these questions. Is there a school board meeting coming up? If so, what dates are you striving to have ready to present by? If you are using petitions, how many signatures do you want to have by then? Next, brainstorm publicity strategy. Consider these questions. Aside from reposting posts from Diversify Our Narrative's Instagram, what other interesting content can you post on your local school district Instagram account? Have you made an Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter account for your district? And if so, who is running it? Next, set goals. How many petition and teacher signatures are you aiming for before you present it to the school board? Lastly, decide what tasks need to be done, who will be in charge of them, and when they are due. Tip number 2, assign roles to all organizers. Here are 2 mandatory roles needed in every chapter. You should have 1 to 2 representatives that will look over the team and act as heads of campaign for your school district. This person will be responsible for scheduling and leading weekly calls, creating call agendas, maintaining organization with their districts, and filling out a weekly chapter updates form for our executive leadership team to review. Think of this duty as one of a representative for each district. You should also have 1 director of social media to manage all of your social media accounts. Other than these roles, your chapter has the freedom to choose what you want to call the role based on what needs to be done in your district. A great way to figure out what roles need to be filled is asking yourself the following question: what specific tasks need to be done in my school district? Usually figuring out what tasks need to be done will show you what roles need to be there. Tip number 3, be consistent. Set up a time for weekly calls. Consistency is key when it comes to activism. Having a set time to meet every week increases accountability, provides stability, and creates a routine you are used to. This increases the chance that everyone on your team will remain committed and devoted to the cause. For more examples on how to structure weekly meetings, check out Diversify Our Narrative's call checklist in the description. Tip 4, make agendas. Agendas ensure that your weekly calls have structure, purpose, and organization. Without an agenda, it's easy to get sidetracked while brainstorming and go off topic. While tangents can be fun, they distract us from staying focused and can waste time. Ensure that this task is delegated to a consistent person, which usually are the district leads. Tip number 5, Google Drive. Google Drive is an easy and organizational platform we all know and love. As usual, Google Drive will be a helpful tool in managing your chapter. You will likely have many documents as this project progresses. You'll have documents for call agendas, brainstorming documents, to-do lists, and more. Keep it all organized in a Google Drive folder. Having this folder shared with everyone on your team will make your life a lot easier. Tip number 6, create a weekly to-do list at the end of each call. This holds people accountable and ensures that you stay on schedule. Here's an example from the executive leadership from Diversify Our Narrative. We call every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. During these calls, we go over all the assignments that were due for us from the prior week and discuss what needs to be done for next week. We recommend that you use a similar structure. Tip number 7, Make these deliverables tangible and quantifiable. When you create deliverables or tasks for each team member, try your best to make them as specific as possible. Being specific and clear means you have a better grasp on the magnitude of the goals you are trying to accomplish. Not every deliverable can be quantified, so don't worry if you can't make every small thing super specific. This is just something to keep an eye out for. Lastly, tip number 8, keeping track of your team's tasks. When deliverables are created, it's easy to lose track of all of them. Sometimes your deliverables and tasks are due at different dates. Sometimes you're in charge of 5 separate tasks. Stay organized. Help your team also stay organized by creating an online Excel sheet, Google Sheet, or any other system that everyone can have access to that clearly delineates tasks, who's responsible for them, and their due dates. This is how our executive leadership team keeps track of our deliverables. This template will also be available in the description. As you can see, under each team member's name, each task, description, and due date is listed out clearly. And that's it. Hopefully this video will help you get started in creating an effective and collaborative chapter. Remember that Dawn is always here to assist you if you have any questions or need specific advice. As stated earlier, all links mentioned in the video will be in the description. Thank you for watching, and let's get to organizing.